guess I should turn the mic on. Hey everybody, bonus stream today. Had a little extra time, so I thought, why not? Let's get the rest of this sword done. So, let's see. Today we're going to do the backside of this sword that we did before, so that we can show you how to do it actually on stream instead of that 1 minute clip. Although I think that 1 minute clip was good. Most people seem to like it. I was surprised at how well it actually performed, but I'm happy about it. Where's my... Here we go. Ow. Just stabbed myself on camera. But that's okay. There's no gore on this stream. Probably should not. Don't store your hobby knife up and unprotected. That's a bad idea in general. Get a little extra water. Nope, I didn't actually cut myself. It felt like I did, but seems to not have. Well, good. Okay, switch to the. So two new things. I did a little canvas work yesterday, just because I was looking at other streams and I was like, mine's pretty boring. So you may or may not like this, but I'm trying it anyway because I want to see if it affects any kind of change. Hey, what's going on, Cole? Thanks for being here. Really appreciate you. Tell me what you think of this. So I made this in Canvas, or Canva, just to make it look a little more interesting, instead of just the painting canvas and then me in the bottom. I think it looks nicer. I picked my favorite color, bright pale yellow, for like the background, or at least close enough. It's like a buttery yellow. But that's neither here nor there. We're painting. We're not the aesthetics are secondary. Although I mean it could be important. The nice things for people to look at, and we have like the beautiful latest subscriber, latest follower on the bottom. I think it's all cool. So we'll see how well that does. So today, like I said, we're doing the other side of the sword, and we're using, just like I did in the clip that I made, the makeup brush, specifically a pointy end makeup brush, because this is what's going to give us that control to make sure that we get like the same type of effect as this. You can use other things if you have access to them. Yeah. I think it organizes things a lot better. I appreciate that. That's what I was going for. I mean, the colors I also wanted to look nice. I wanted it to be a nice experience for people. Okay, first things first, we gotta base coat the sword, and that's gonna be, there's 3 colors with this. It's going to be deep gray, uniform gray, and company gray. That's it, just these 3 colors. The highlight, the peak highlight is white ink, of course, but the 3 colors other than white are only those 3. So let's take a look here and get started. Palette cam. I also hope that no problem, man. I appreciate you. Just showing up is enough. If you all watch it later, I'll see you later. But you got a lot drive. That's a hell of a drive. I made that drive the opposite way. I went from Massachusetts to California through the bottom, through Texas. Texas is a trek. It goes on forever. Stop at Buc-ee's a couple times, which was fun and cool. All my Buc-ee's fans, it's the #1 spot in America for a reason. That shit is insane, but awesome at the same time. I can't tell you how much fun it was and how good that pulled pork barbecue sandwich was. For a gas station? Are you kidding me? Anyways, I hope you got to experience that on the drive through Texas. And not just the flat desert plains. Hell yeah. Buc-ee's and Whataburger. We have Whataburgers now here in Cali, but they're super few and far between. But hell yeah, I would put Whataburger against In-N-Out any day. For different moods. Not digging on In-N-Out. In-N-Out's fucking awesome, but you get different vibes from either. Okay, let's get started here. I need my glasses because I can't see. I hope that with this new mic that tapping and me cleaning off the brush isn't too annoying. I haven't quite figured out how to set the settings on the microphone so that it doesn't pick that up, but it also doesn't cut off my voice every 5 seconds. Like it was cutting off all the S's and things. Ozorka water. What is that? I've never heard of that. All right, base coating in deep gray. Normally you would do both sides at once. I made the clip first with the intention to do this on stream. So the reason you would do that is because you're liable to mess up the other side doing what I'm doing here. Because no matter how careful you are, you can't always predict where the bristles of the brush are going to go. Like one will somehow sneak its way onto the other side just from doing this. Don't ask me how. Okay. Don't need to be too careful with this little, what would you call it? This little dip here, because you can always re-base coat the palm, what is it called? The grip, whatever this thing is. It starts with a P. Somebody's going to tell me later. The pommel of the sword, which we need to do anyway because it's messed up on the other side too. But again, we were saving that. Okay, let's check. Nope, I didn't mess it up. Oh yeah, 100%. I've never been to we went through Texas maybe it took 2 days. We stopped at Buc-ee's, of course, Whataburger, but it was a pretty straight shot through. We were trying to make it back to Cali in a certain amount of time. Otherwise, I would have stayed longer. Okay, just letting that dry, and we can prep our other paints. The initial highlight is the uniform gray. And I'm going to show you what the makeup sponge effect looks like. Some people were curious. So, getting paint saturated on the tip of the makeup sponge. The thing about the sponges like this is they absorb the paint pretty quickly. It dries out a lot faster than you might expect. But see that kind of like powdery blend that we're getting there, or that powdery effect? That's what you're looking for. Perfect. Okay. Zoom in a little more. Focus up. Hopefully you can see that pretty well. And we're going to start in the middle. We're going to do the same sort of pattern as the front. So we do light taps. You're building an effect here. Also, don't be too afraid of going over the area. Like if you go over a little bit, that might actually be a good thing, because you can come back with the base color in between, and you're gonna wanna do that anyway to help establish the blends. And you'll see what I mean a little later, because you'll see I'm gonna go over on purpose just to kind of show you what I mean, because it's important for this effect. Putting a little more paint on there. Starting in the middle, just building that initial highlight. You can see that now starting to come through. Okay, but see how smooth that transition looks? That's sort of the magic of this specifically, is that you can't get that with, say, the other sponge. This is rougher. It's a much more chipped texture. This is really smooth by the end of it. Okay, let's do the tip of the sword here. And again, don't be squeamish. Really get it on there. Because like I said, you'll actually, more often than not when doing this, establish the darker areas by going over what you've highlighted with the base color. That's going to help define those transitions anyway. Okay, a little more. There we go. Okay, so you can see clearly those two areas. See if I can focus. There we go. So the tip and the middle. Now let's exaggerate it with the company gray, in focus preferably. The company gray. This is the, not the peak highlight, this is the, it's still the maximal colored highlight, but the peak highlight is a pure white because we're going for a silver metallic. Okay, I'll actually start with the tip this time, just so you can kind of see the exaggerated transition. Coming down, and really that's it. You don't need to do too much. Come down a little bit more. There we go. Okay, and then do the middle. And you'll see how fast this turns into a sword from the piece of gray plastic that you had a second ago. And the transition is just beautiful. Boom. See that? It's like glowing almost. And we haven't even done the peak highlights. That's what we're looking for. Boom. If you were critically lazy, you could even just get away with that right there. That's convincing enough for a lot of people. Like, tabletop ready? You kidding me? That's enough. But we're psychopaths over here, and we're going to keep going. So let's do the opposite end, and you're going to do the opposite areas. So not the tip, the midpoint here, and the bottom. And you will get it on that bottom part of the pommel, so don't worry about it. It's going to happen. I didn't see what just happened. Oh, wait a minute. Inquisitor Crux, thank you for following. I appreciate you. I didn't set up my alerts properly. I'm sorry. I thought I had. This is a new layout for me. Oh man. Wait a minute. Prime? Incredible. Thank you so much. I just saw your little badge. Thank you so much for sticking around. I appreciate you. All right. So now we're gonna, like, here's the midpoint here. Let's get that shined up. Is this your first time viewing the stream? Hell yeah. Thank you so much. That makes me even happier. Makes me feel like I'm doing something right. Or at least entertaining. Okay, so see that? You're gonna get a little bleed up, but that, I think, in my opinion, looks better. It doesn't need to be like a horizontal line, but you can fix that if you want to, and I'll show you just in case that's your proclivity. And the way that you'll fix it is, like I said earlier, you'll reestablish that mid-dark tone with the base color. So we'll do that in a minute, but we're gonna go back to the higher highlight, the company gray. Not quite white, but almost there. Mid-tone. Oop, maybe a little too much there, but that's okay. This transition is so light and smooth that you can get away with overdoing it because, like I said, just come back with that secondary mid-tone and you'll fix it. Just tap away till you get the level of gradient you're looking for. But when I originally posted this, people thought I used an airbrush. Nope. This thingy. Pack of 15 of them from Daiso. Okay. So, this is pre-highlights. This is like white peak highlights, which we'll use the white ink for and a brush. But you can see all of the basics are established. Everything we do from here is just gonna push it to the next level. You could leave it like this if you really wanted to, but we're gonna go a little further. So let's do the white ink. This is just gonna make it look shiny. Oh wait, no, sorry. Let me do the shadows a little bit first, just because I said I would. So the shadows are that original base color, the deep gray. So that's the initial base color. And we're just doing the midpoints between each thing, just to exaggerate the metallic effect, because metal is very dark in shadow, especially something like this. And in a lot of effects, metals, especially if you're doing like a shiny metal, has stark, even straight lines in the reflections. We're not going that hard, so we're not doing that, but this is simulating something like that. Okay. There we go. A little bit more down here. We'll go to the other side. Do the same thing. Just making it a little more bold with the shadows there. And it's just a little bit. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. But just doing that pushes it a little further. The shine effect. But you can't go wrong with the makeup sponge. Whew. It's better than the brush in many such cases. I see people do tutorials with the like glaze version where you have to do layer after layer after layer after layer of glazes to get this, to make it look like this. And it's not, in my opinion, it's not worth the time. Especially if your intention is to play. Sorry, I'm just brushing some dust off of here. Why do I have to paint in an oxygen tent not to get dust all over my minis? You tell me. Tap stream. Okay, so this midline, some people make a little bit of a mistake here. You don't need to do like this. In fact, that's not advisable. You won't get a straight line, and with this metallic effect, you want it to be as straight as possible. It's going to be pretty difficult to fix if you have already done this and then have to come back and reestablish that, especially with the white, because you're going to have to do it again. So you're actually going to approach it with the side of the brush. So let me show you here, and watch me mess up. But this is what do what I say, not what I necessarily do. So kind of like making a feather motion until I finally make contact, as lightly as possible. Staying just barely touching that ridge to hold my breath. Woo! We did it without messing up. At least, not that I can tell. But that white, now see that gleam right up the middle? Makes it look like metal. It looked like metal before, but now it really looks like metal. Now when we do the edge, and do one edge, not both. Because you're kind of pretending that light is hitting one side more than the other. The gleam would only appear on one, and we're going to do this side. More little tricks. Okay. And then we'll check after this to see how badly we messed up the other side. Hopefully we didn't. Ah, shoot. See? What'd I say? But that's a good opportunity for me to show you how to fix that. But we'll finish the rest of it first. Boom. Okay, so pretending I didn't mess up there. There's the blade. But let me fix that. So in order to fix that, the sponge method is going to be a little too light to just cover that up right away. Come back and dot fix it with your base color to remove it entirely, and then come back with the sponge after. If necessary. In some cases, like this one, it's enough of a blend and it's low enough where you didn't need to do that. Got lucky. But there we go. Front, back. The only thing that I think we can do is the front, the gleam areas are a little brighter. We can push that a little further. We'll just go again with the company gray, just a little bit more. On those peak highlight areas. This company gray is whenever I do a white or a close to white paint, this is very thick. It's pretty, on your wet palette, you still would pull it kind of away from the initial droplet just to moisturize it a little bit, because if you do too thick, it's not going to get that effect. It's going to look grainy. Okay, it's a little brighter. Little brighter. And this is just me being anal about this, just wanting it to be a little more uniform to the front, but it's not necessary. It looked great before. There we go. Just a little brighter. But that's it. Makeup sponge. No airbrush. Single use of the regular brush. I use it to establish the peak highlight and fix one small dot area. And that took 30 minutes with me being overly scrutinous. Front, back. Now for the little bottom area, I haven't quite decided how to make that reflecty or make it more uniform with the rest of the sword. It's just gonna really be a light, not gonna say dusting, but like a light touch of the mid-tone, just to show that some light is hitting it towards the bottom. There we go. It makes it look like it's more 3D, like it pops up instead of being totally flat. And I know that I'm hitting the pommel. I'm gonna go over that again with its base color, so I'm not worried about it. But there we go. See? You do it a little bit towards the middle, now it looks like it's sort of 3D. Where on this side I haven't done it. See how flat it looks? Versus this side, and this is what I'm talking about right here, the bottom part. So just doing a little bit towards the bottom in the middle makes it look like it is a raised surface a little bit. Let me do that to the front just so that we can mimic each side. And that was the mid-tone. That was the one step above the base color. There we go. Yeah, just to give it some textures, some substance. Whatever dumb art term you want to say, it changes the character. The character. I have an art degree. No, I don't. And art degrees are fine, by the way. Please don't disparage anybody who has art degrees. That's a wonderful accomplishment. I would never disparage anybody who has an art degree. But here we go. All done with the blade. Let's repaint the base color on the pommel, and we'll do the non-metallic gold on that, which we're going to use the more rough sponge technique, which is going to be this one with the grabby tool. And this rougher texture sponge, because that's what we did for the rest of the model here, because we want the gold areas to match with this one. By the way, if anybody's interested in seeing us do this from beginning to end using this other sponge, by the way, almost no brush, that's on my YouTube. All the VODs are uploaded there individually with pictures and just like this. So if you want to check it out, please do. Let's get a new piece of paper. And we'll paint the base color back on. And the base color is dark green brown. By the way, I think I said it last stream, Pro Acryl is quickly becoming one of my favorite paint brands, just for the fact that it comes out of the bottle so thin already. I haven't used a color where I had to thin it very much at all. It comes out with a wonderful texture. Do your best to be careful here. Wouldn't want to get this green, this brown green on your nice shiny blade. It's really up to you which thing you do first. I've had some people suggest that we should have done the bottom. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. That makes it all worth it. I hope that I hope that my explanations are good enough. That's my biggest goal, is that this actually is helpful for people. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for stepping in, hanging out with us today. See you next time. Ironically, I'm using ironically wrong, but Inquisitor was our first mid-stream subscriber / follower. That's the first time that's happened, which is very cool. the reason that that's significant at all is that that means he came in, listened to what I was doing / saw what I was doing, and said, that's good enough for me to continue to want to see that, which makes me feel great. Okay, being extra careful here. Really don't want to get green on there, and I think I've established that. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's do it on the other side. Okay. This is a good contrast. I'm actually pretty pleased with the color choices that we've made for this. Okay, sorry for the silence there. I have to hold my breath sometimes, so that I don't ruin our beautiful work. Okay. Nope, a little bit more. Just right here. I don't know how we got some there, but we did. Okay. Next thing is we're going to prepare our grabby tool. Let me just demonstrate that really quick, because some people don't know what this is / don't know what I do. So this is a computer technician tool. It's used to pick up small electronic components. It's $2-3 by itself if you get like a metal one. The plastic ones are even less for like a pack of 5. So just look up electronic grabber tool and you should find this right away. It's not very difficult to find. It doesn't have like a special name. It's actually literally called the grabber, I believe. Okay. And this is kind of what you're looking for. You put the sponge on the grab, and then it's going to look like this when we use it to establish the non-metallic gold. So the first stage after the dark green brown is the initial highlight of dark orange brown. We may not get to all of the non-metallic metal today, but we're going to do our best. My goal with this guy is not to have it take 11 streams to complete. It shouldn't. But if it does, we still have fun. Let's focus up a little bit better. So you'll immediately see the much rougher texture of this sponge versus the makeup sponge. It's a totally different characteristic. The makeup sponge is like a smooth blend. This is kind of I almost want to call it like a crunchy blend, very chipped. Okay. So there we go, top half. Then we replace the sponge. And then we're going to the next orange brown. It's the higher orange. Or a brighter orange. I guess higher is not the right word. Okay. So with this, you really do have to replace the sponge every time, which involves just tearing off a tiny little piece of that little wafer that I had. Because you can't really get it off of those small pieces. It'll just absorb through it and you won't be able to use it for anything. If you try to blend it with another color, you may be able to get some good blends with that, but for this, we're not really interested in going that deep. Okay. So this is that second mid-tone. Remember, you're just going a little less far on either side of that light that we established with the first mid-tone. Because we went almost all the way up here. But this is where the light is hitting more intensely. Really get those edges of things, like the lips of the metal here. There we go. So see that change? And we're gonna go to the color that makes it really look like gold, the butter yellow, I like to call it. Bright yellow ochre. Here we go. These tiny little sponge pieces sometimes can be tough to get on here. There we go. So this is going to establish really the color of gold for the model. So be a little bit sparing. You don't need to be too careful yet. You're not in the peak highlight, but don't go overboard with that. You still want that orange color to show up behind. Really focus on the edges still, because those are going to reflect the most light. There. Just a tiny little bit more in the middle there. Okay. That's enough. You want to know when to stop. Okay. And then we'll do the peak highlight. Which is going to be bright pale yellow. Not quite white, not quite yellow. And this you're going to be extremely sparing on. Really only hitting some tiny little areas. Just like this. So, right at the edge of the wrist guard here. The tip of the gauntlet area, and then maybe the tip of the finger right there. And then just one little... There we are. And then the peak of the ball of the elbow guard here. That's it. So we have a non-metallic metal gold gauntlet that matches the rest of the model. This is what we use. This little sponge. Okay, so next stream we are going to do the pommel, and we're going to do the other glove and do the back side of it, and then we're going to attach it to the rest of the model. And then we'll probably start the cape here, which is going to be another instance where we'll use a makeup sponge. I want to show you just how versatile this can work, because it's not just for things that are like a flat surface. It's great for this curved surface. So that's next stream. But for everybody who came in today and checked us out, I appreciate you. Hope I can see you again next time.